Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today is a very special episode of Splat from the Past because I will be interviewing Kathryn Leigh Scott, the star of the horror soap opera classic series Dark Shadows. Yes, I'm having her on the show today to talk about that show, talk about how she originally began as a Playboy Bunny, and she has a new book out called September Girl, and she also has a couple new movies coming out as well that talk about all that stuff, and I can't wait. It's going to be a tremendous honor. So here is my interview with Kathryn Leigh Scott. Hey, Kathryn.
Hey, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm looking forward to talking with you. Tell me a little bit about what we're going to do.
Oh, we're just going to do, a quick, history run through of you, and then, get into your newer projects and stuff like that.
Good. And this is recorded, yes?
Yes, this is my podcast.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I always like to know before I get started.
I make it easy. I make it easy for my guests.
You sure do. You sure do. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. It's such a great honor. Thank you for taking the time this morning.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. So I'm ready when you are.
Okay. And just so you know, Kathryn, nothing offends me, so swearing is allowed if you feel that you need to.
Yeah, that sounds like me, doesn't it? I don't think you have to worry about that.
Okay. So, going back in time, I was reading that you grew up in Robbinsdale, Minnesota. At what age did you start gravitating toward acting?
Oh, in second grade. Very specifically. I wrote a play about George and Martha Washington,
Mm-hmm.
and I cast this boy named David that I had a crush on. Little girls do have a crush in second grade. And he played George Washington, but I gave Martha Washington all the good lines.
Wow. God, you must have been really smart at that age to write a play about George Washington.
Well, that's when you start getting interested in that sort of thing. And I got the most wonderful teacher. And we ended up doing it for the whole, all of the second grade classes. So it was really kind of wonderful. Obviously, the teacher kind of shepherded everything through, but it was really fun.
That's
very, very. It was really fun.
That's wonderful. Did you start doing more school plays and community theater and all that?
I did some community theater, but I appeared at every single play through junior high and high school, and then at 16, I got a scholarship to attend Northwestern University. They have what they called a tour program, and that was probably one of the best things that I could ever have done, because I was thrown in with other 16-year-olds from all over the country, and I had applied to both journalism and in theater, and I got the scholarship in theater. So going off at the age of 16 to Chicago and really working with other kids who were really interested and so on, it just couldn't have been a better experience.
Yeah, I don't think a whole lot of 16-year-olds would be let off alone today.
Well, I wonder about that. No, I think that, sorry to use this word, but I grew up on a farm, and I certainly wasn't coddled. Mm-hmm. And I sometimes think that kids today are, they're coddled way past when they should be. My parents did trust me, and it was a great experience.
Yeah, I agree. They are very coddled nowadays. And you attended the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York. Were any of your classmates go on to become famous actors?
No, I can't think of anybody that I personally know. I've lost track of almost all of them. I don't know of anybody that is still working. I just don't know. I just don't know. But no, I don't think so.
How about any of those famous acting teachers?
Oh, there's an acting teacher that I had at the American Academy named Harry Master George, and he was wonderful. And the man is well into his 80s now. He's almost 90, and he's still teaching 4 classes a week. And a couple of years ago, he's teaching private classes, and I went back and studied with him. He was just wonderful. He was so inspiring. And of course, that's what you need.
Absolutely. How did the Playboy Club come into your life?
Oh, well, I just needed, I needed a part-time job. I needed to make some money just for living expenses, room and board. And I had a job at Bloomingdale's, and then I saw this sign in the window of... Excuse me, let me go back because I have to go back.
Okay.
I was reading the New York Times, and I saw this ad that said, "Girls, step into the step." Sorry, can we just start all over here?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm getting all muddled. I was going to school at the academy, and I needed a part-time job for room and board. And I saw an ad in the New York Times, and it says, "Girls, step into the spotlight, become a Playboy Bunny." And I went and auditioned, and I got the job. And again, it couldn't have been a better thing to do at that age, because I was thrown in again with all of these girls, literally from all over the world. I always thought the bunny dressing room was the most fun place because, it was just a wonderful place to kind of walk on the wild side, but in a very protected environment. And to be a schoolgirl in the morning and then go and work as a cocktail waitress in the afternoon, what could be more fun than that when you're 19 years old?
Yeah, and plus it was a much more freer time in America. It was a lot more politically incorrect,
Well, yeah, but it was politically incorrect in every way you can imagine.
Yeah.
But there was also something very liberating about that time for all of us. I mean, I have to say that the girls who worked at the Playboy Club in those early years, we felt that we were in the vanguard of the women's lib movement, which is what it was called. And there was also it just felt like a much calmer, easier time to grow up. I look at my grandnieces and nephews and today, and I just think, oh my God, what a world you're growing up in.
Yeah. I know. I worry about our future sometimes. Were you there the same time as Deborah Harry?
She came a little bit after me, but I got hired the same day as Lauren Hutton and Susan Sullivan, who she's in the Kaminsky Method now, but she was in Falcon Crest and Dom and Greg, just a lovely actress. And she's my oldest friend. We met at the Playboy Club. And the other thing about working there as a bunny is that the women were all so incredibly supportive. I remember, because I kept in touch with the girls, I remember, when someone like Deborah Harry had a gig down in the village somewhere, the girls would all show up and support her. And I remember when Lauren Hutton was showing her photographs in the bunny dressing room, and we all, there was that gap between her teeth, and we all looked at that, and we thought, uh-oh. But, encouraging and just terribly supportive. And my God, she became the first, supermodel. I'm very proud of the women that I work with, and many of them are still close friends today. And I really respect and admire them.
Well, was Jennifer Bassi there?
Not when I was there, no.
Okay, she may have been before or after you, one of the two.
Could be.
She went on to become a soap opera actress. Did you get to meet Hef?
Oh, many times, but not when I was a bunny. I didn't meet Hef until I wrote The Bunny Years, and we became really close. He allowed me to use his private library with some 1,200 scrapbooks in it when I was doing the fact checking on my book. And I actually sat with him, he in his pajamas and me in my blue shoes and T-shirt, at a table with a plate of cookies and some Pepsi-Colas on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Just going over the book, and he made no editorial comments. But he did want to supply the color photographs that I used and help me choose those. He was, again, incredibly supportive. I liked the way he treated me.
Mm-hmm.
He was a wonderful editor and publisher, and I have to say, he was on that level that I met him.
Yeah, I've interviewed a lot of former Playboy bunnies and centerfolds, and many of them never got to meet him. And it usually disappoints me when I hear that, because I wanted I wanted to meet somebody who got to sleep with him.
Oh, no, we never dated. I have to be very clear about that.
Yeah.
No, as a matter of fact, when I met Hef, I was very happily married.
Yeah, way after.
He was married. I never had any kind of romantic, association with him at all. It was entirely professional, but I really appreciated the way he treated me, the way we treated each other.
That's good. It's probably better that way too. So, how did you get so lucky in being cast in Dark Shadows?
I was still working as a Playboy Bunny, and my agent sent me out in an audition, and I auditioned several times for the role of Victoria Winters. All of the actresses who auditioned for Dark Shadows began with that audition, and then one day I was brought in to meet Maggie Evans, and did a camera test. And it turned out that I was doing a camera test with two men. I was the only woman, which gave me the idea that I might be getting the job with Maggie, and I was cast. So, and I was on the very first day of the show.
Wow! And when you read the pilot script, were you struck by how different the show was compared to everything else that was on at the time?
Absolutely amazed that Dark Shadows was a gothic romance, and at a time when all of the other soap operas had to do with life in a hospital or just domestic dramas that took place in some suburban town. There was nothing like Dark Shadows. It was spooky and scary. It was fantastical. There were so many things about the show that set it apart.
Yeah, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there are a lot of horror movie actors today that I've talked to that grew up in the 60s, and they first got into horror by watching Dark Shadows.
I'm not surprised at that at all. And there are so many directors who really look to Dark Shadows as being something that inspired them. Chris Carter has said that. He's created the X-Files.
Right.
And Joss Whedon from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And oh my gosh, I can't even think of the number of people over the years.
Barbara Crampton.
Yeah, just let us know what an influence Dark Shadows was on them. I think because of the special effects
Yeah.
and the fact that we time traveled, the fact that we did anthology stories, we borrowed from great literature to tell our stories. I think that probably Barnabas Collins is the granddaddy of some-way vampires, and I'm terribly proud of that. I'm proud of being something that's so innovative.
Yeah. Didn't Joan Bennett become a mentor of yours?
Joan Bennett had 4 daughters, and they were all about the same age as the 4 gals that were on Dark Shadows, Laura Parker and Nancy Barrett and Alexandra Malka and myself. And nothing got by Joan. Joan would, she would even comment to me on my boyfriend. She would give us advice. She would give us advice. She would comment to me on my boyfriend, and she was just wonderful and warm. And I stayed very close to Joan until she passed away at the age of 80. She was like a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's sweet. And you guys made a movie called House of Dark Shadows in 1970. Was that well received?
Dark Shadows, when we were a serial for about 3 years before Dan Curtis decided to turn the show into a movie, and it became a box office success and got really wonderful reviews. House of Dark Shadows was done in 1970, and as a matter of fact, it was so successful that it saved MGM Studios that year. So,
wow.
Again, something else to be proud of. I mean, there weren't any other soap operas that turned themselves into feature films.
Wow. Yeah. Who knew you saved MGM?
We did. And, every once in a while, somebody will send me a newspaper review at the time. And that Walton is actually a close friend. Years later, of course, I read what he wrote about Dark Shadows at the time, and I was just so proud. We really got a very, very good review.
Oh, that's good. Before we get into your newer stuff, I wanted to mention you worked with Jimmy Stewart in the London production of Harvey.
Yes, when I left Dark Shadows in 1970, after I did House of Dark Shadows, I moved to Europe, and I lived in Paris and in London. And when I was in London, I did a stage play with Jimmy Stewart called Harvey, and I played Nurse Kelly. And he again became a close personal friend. When I moved to California a couple of years later, we got in touch, and we were good friends until he passed away.
Oh, was Jesse White in the play?
No. This was a completely English company. Bobby Sherman and I were the only Americans. He played Dr. Sanderson. But it was just, with Jimmy, who came over to do the play. But I was living in London at the time.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen your take on Nurse Kelly. I'm sure you were wonderful.
It was wonderful to do, and I got to put my arms around Jimmy Stewart in the third act every night and say, "I think you're wonderful, Mr. Dowd."
Yeah.
He was wonderful, and every Wednesday after matinee and Saturday after matinee, Jimmy would come by my dressing room, and we'd go to the same restaurant, and the two of us would have lunch together, and we always had the same lunch. And again, it was just a bonding experience. So, we worked together, including rehearsals, for about 7 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jesse White's daughter, Carol, is a frequent guest on the podcast, and she actually did a production of Harvey last summer in Long Beach, and she said that she felt her father was with her the entire time.
Oh, he was such a lovely actor. He was wonderful.
So let's talk about September Girl.
Yes, September Girl is my first standalone novel. It's mainstream women's fiction, and it's a story that takes place in two time periods, the 1960s and the year 2000, the beginning of the new millennium. And it was a story that I wanted to write for a long time. It's really about a woman who, during a period of time when she's getting over her grief, is taken back to something traumatic that happened early in her life. And she revisits it, and it turns out that everything that she had thought happened back then. And it really changed her whole life. But she discovers that everything she thought that had happened was entirely different. Mm-hmm. It was a fun book to write. I wrote about things that I knew about, mm-hmm. but also some things that I wanted to explore. So I'm very happy with the way the book turned out, and I'm so pleased with the kind of response. It's available on Amazon, mm-hmm. and I hope people will let me know what they think of the book. Write a review, please download it and or get a print copy and write a review.
Is this a commentary on selective memory?
In a way, it is. It's. I think when you're experiencing something that is really traumatic, you can sometimes put things off on the back burner. You don't face them at the time, and they become something very different as you grow older. You think about things in a different way, and in this case, this woman is really propelled back to explore. And there are about 5 reveals in this book, 5 unexpected things that again change her life.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah, about 5 years ago, I had a car accident, and I only remember maybe about 5 seconds of the entire night after a certain point, and I always try to think if I can remember anything else, and I can't.
Really?
Yeah, it was very traumatic.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. You try to fill in the gaps, and the longer the time goes by, the more your thoughts change about that. I don't know if that's happened with you.
Yeah, it was the most profound moment of my life, but I wouldn't be here right now if it hadn't happened, because I was...
Really?
Yeah, I was a drunken mess for a few years before that, and it really set me straight.
Oh, dear.
It was pretty bad.
Oh, dear, I'm glad everything turned out well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm pretty lucky. How did you decide that you were going to start writing books?
I've always been a writer. Back in second grade when I wrote that play about George and Martha Washington and also acted in it, I think it set the template for my life. I have always been a writer and an actor. And right now I am completely splitting my time between the two. This month I've had 3 films come out that I've done in the last year. Woody Allen's film, A Rainy Day in New York. I watched that when I was on an American Airlines flight to California. And in California, I went to the 2020 Palm Springs Film Festival for the premiere of another film that I did, The 11th Green. And a week later, the Richard Gere film, Three Christs, with Juliana Margulies, mm-hmm. That I did a year ago, that was also in movie theaters. So 3 films came out in 1 month, and I did an episode of The Blacklist a couple months ago.
Nice.
I'm still very much working as an actress, and I've also begun a new novel. I'm about halfway through it. It's a detective book. It's a new series of detective books. I also wrote the Down and Out of Beverly Hills and Jinxed, mm-hmm. Which is part of a mystery series, and that's available on Amazon as well. But I do enjoy doing both. I can't imagine my life without writing and acting.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any like unreleased in your vault that you're so prolific as a writer?
No, I've written both fiction and nonfiction. I wrote several caregiving books after caring for my husband who passed away a few years ago, and those were published by Grand Harbor. Those books, there are four of them actually, having to do with caregiving. All of them are on Amazon, and I've written five books, novels. I enjoy writing fiction. I wrote Dark Passages. That was really with a wink and a nod to Dark Shadows. So I think people would really enjoy Dark Passages. It's still my favorite book that I've written. And again, nice. It's on Amazon.
Nice. And how long does each book, does it vary how long it takes to write them?
Oddly enough, every book seems to take a year. It takes a year to write it, and even if it involves a lot of research, it takes a year to do a book. And I'm not one of those writers that can churn out 3 books a year and for a book series. I just can't do that. And nor do I want to. I really enjoy writing. I enjoy the process, just as I enjoy the process of acting. And I think most of what I know as an actor, it translates into the work I do as a writer.
Yeah, have you ever written a movie?
Oh, I have. I've written several screenplays,
mm-hmm.
And they're all out there. It would be wonderful if one of them got picked up. One is under option now, but who knows? These things all take time, and to my mind, they take an enormous amount of luck. So yeah. I've got 4 screenplays that I've written, but nothing has been on the big screen yet.
Yeah, I've been writing screenplays since I was 12, and right now I have this one script that I'm trying to make, and going through a lot of headache and the long process of making it happen. But I won't give up hope.
Good.
Of the 3 movies that you have out, which can you talk about?
I can talk about all of them. In The 11th Green, I play Mamie Eisenhower,
mm-hmm.
and and there are wonderful scenes. Again, that film takes place in 2 different time periods, and I'm in the time period right after the Eisenhowers were out of office, that Eisenhower was out of office, and the relationship between Mamie Eisenhower and Ike. It's a really fascinating one. I read several biographies before I did the role, and the film is really about all of the UFOs and Eisenhower's response to that. The film is paranormal, and it was directed by Christopher Munch. It's just a terrific film. It got very, very nice reviews when it premiered.
Mm-hmm.
And A Rainy Day in New York, I have always wanted to work with Woody Allen, and I'm so glad I got my wish. It was just wonderful. It's a film with, let me see, Timothy Chalamet, Troy Jones, Jude Law, Elle Fanning. It's just again, he always stocks his cast with amazing actors. So
yeah,
it was great to work on that.
Is Woody Allen still not communicating with actors during filming? He just lets them do their job?
I don't know where that came from. You have to be on a set with Woody to realize that he actually does direct. No, he gave me direction. He certainly gave Timothy Chalamet direction. Everything that I observed, he interacted with the cast and set up the scenes, directed. No, I didn't find him standoffish at all.
I don't know where that came from. Maybe he has his favorites or something, and No,
I think it's just the way. Every director is different. I can't even tell you the number of directors I've worked with in what is now a 50-some-year career. I've worked with so many directors. They're all different.
Yeah.
They all have their ways, and it's whatever you're used to. And frankly, I appreciate think there's ever been a director that I've really had a problem with. You just accept that they all work differently.
Oh, I was going to mention the 11th Green has George C. Scott's son, Campbell Scott.
Yes, and it was very interesting. I didn't work with Campbell Scott, but of course I worked with his father, George C. Scott, in the last days of Patton. And from what I can tell, the two actors, father and son, could not be more different in perhaps the way they were. Campbell Scott is a wonderful actor. So was his father.
Yeah.
It was just very interesting to be in two different films with both of those actors.
Yeah, he does look like his father, though. I remember when he did that movie with Julia Roberts back in the early '90s, Dying Young or something. He looked just like his father. I mean, he had a different, acting style, but he looked like him.
Yes, yeah. I loved working with his father. I played his mistress in Patton, Last Days of Patton, and it was a very dramatic film. It was made for television, and he was terrific. He was quirky. Everybody is different, and when you go on the set to rehearse, and you just find your way of working with people.
Mm-hmm. And you did a horror movie called Loon Lake.
Yes, there's a young director named Ansel Kovac. He was a Dark Shadows fan. He got in touch with me years ago when I think he was a teenager, and he just said that he had this script, and I thought it was really just sweet, delightful that he was just so passionate about doing the film. And I met him. He was auditioning people for the other roles, and there was a very, very nice middle-aged woman sitting next to him. And I turned to her and I said, "Are you the producer?" And she said, "No, I'm his mother." He had chosen. It's just a marvelous story. His parents had given him a choice between driver insurance and some money to do his film, and he took the money to do the film. So his mother had to drive him around. I just think that's marvelous. But now, of course, years later, he's turning into quite a good director. And I haven't worked with him for a while, but David Shelby and I came back to do Loon Lake. Mm-hmm. And it was wonderful to see his growth as a director.
Mm-hmm. Are you a horror fan in general?
No, not at all. I've never gone to a horror film. It's just not my taste. I think of Dark Shadows as more paranormal, frankly. Mm-hmm. A thriller. And no, aside from House of Dark Shadows, we've had its horror, and Loon Lake, I just don't go. Those are the only horror films I've done.
Well, I saw on Facebook a little while ago that you're going to be at Creatures Con in the Bay Area this August.
Oh, really? Is that announced? Well, that'll be fun.
Yeah, I went there last year. It's a nice little con. A lot of my guests were there, and I know the organizers, of course, Tom Warsh and Lord Blooddraw, the horror host in the Bay Area, and it's going to be great.
I hope nobody is disappointed to hear that I'm not a horror fan, but I've made that pretty clear over the years. I really respect the work that I did in Loon Lake, and certainly my experience with Dan Curtis and working in television and films with him. I also did Turn of the Screw with Dan directing, and Come Die With Me that Dan directed. So I don't really think of those as horror films. I'm sure other people do, but there are horror elements in them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, don't feel bad. I've met a lot of horror actors who don't like horror.
No.
Yeah. Well, I'll try to make it down there this August again to meet you.
That would be lovely. I look forward to it. I'm delighted that it's been announced. I only confirmed my appearance yesterday.
Yeah. They don't waste time.
No, no. So I look forward to it. But thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure. Yes. Hey, Kathryn, would you like to hear a joke?
Sure.
It's a staple of the show and stuff. This is it's mildly dirty. So, do you know the difference between a golf ball and a G spot?
No.
It takes a man 20 minutes to find the golf ball.
Is that the joke that you always tell?
I've told it before. Yes.
And have you got really wonderful reactions to that?
Oh yeah, I've gotten like laugh out loud response.
Well, good for you.
Yeah, I mean it's the joke is rooted in reality, and the key word is subjective. Some people think it's hilarious and some people don't.
Okay.
I apologize for failing you there.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
So September Girl is available where? Yeah, Amazon?
September Girl is available on Amazon. You can also go to my website, www.KathrynLeeScott.com. All of my books are there, including Dark Shadows Return to Cullenwood, which is a book about the 5 decades of Dark Shadows. And all of the other books are available on my website, but also on Amazon, on Amazon.com.
Nice. And Loon Lake, The 11th Green, and Rainy Day in June, they're all available in streaming.
Rainy Day in New York.
Nice. Yeah.
I think you find most things on Amazon these days, and it's so easy to say look for it on Amazon, but obviously things are available other places as well.
Nice. Kathryn, this was an amazing honor. You're such a sweet lady, and like I said, if I come out there in August, I'll meet you there. I just thank you so much for coming on today.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
My pleasure. Have yourself a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Kathryn Leigh Scott. Ain't she a sweetheart? Thank you so much, Kathryn. You're a sweet lady. Sorry if that joke went over your head, but I did my best there. And like I said, I come out to Creatures Con in August, I will meet you there. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Later, dudes!